Hey guys, it's your boy Seth here, and I'm coming at y'all with a fucking banger. I'm coming at y'all with my coworker Green Dial off the dab pen. But before I get into it, man, HBO special. Help a brother out. Your boy been on his grind like a skater. Your boy been on his move like a centipede. So you might as well show some love. Bro, what the fuck have y'all been smoking? Cause my last video is on the way to 1,000 fucking views. Yo, what the fuck? Y'all blow my mind every fucking day, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all checking out that dad pen story, man. So I'm dropping out another one for y'all just because I appreciate y'all so much. Like, dude, genuinely, man, I never thought I would get that many views on any of my videos, especially that quick, bro. I really do appreciate y'all, and I'm sorry for rambling, bro. I just gotta say thank you. So let's get into today's story. My coworker greened out off the dad pen. So yes, this is a remaster, but this is also the second most viewed story on my channel, and this is also a banger of a story to tell. I mean, this story is hilarious, but also, man, like I said in the last remaster, man, dude, your boy, he was a shitty commentator back in the day. Like, he didn't know how to stay on topic, he didn't know how to get his words out, he didn't know how to flow, he didn't know none of that shit. So, this is what today is about. So let's get into today's story, ladies and gentlemen, huh? So this story takes place, dang, it's almost 3-4 years ago now, in the beginning of 2019. No, I'm tripping. 3 years ago now, in the beginning of 2020. I'm tripping. So this was the beginning of COVID, okay? And at the time, this was a little bit before I was working at my landscaping job, like I said a few videos ago. So I was working this Bojangles job. And this job, honestly, was one of the chillest work environments I ever had. Not work ever, but work environments. Everybody in that bitch smoked and was cool. Like, it was such a weird thing. Like, the adults smoked, the kids smoked, the old heads smoked. Like, everybody in that bitch smoked. Like, nobody was excluded. Like, hey, grandma smoked, bro. Hey, grandpa smoked. Hey, little Jimmy, he smoked too. Sorry about the burp. I just ate tacos before this. But dude, that job was super chill. But also, dude, they just really didn't care what you did there, man. Like, I'm being super genuine. But also, it was kind of a double-edged sword because sometimes I would let my coworkers get away with things that I shouldn't have. Like, I would let them hit my stuff way too much, knowing damn well they're gonna get way too fucking shell. But hey, your boy didn't care. Your boy was just caught up in the moment. And this was one of those times. But I just had to get an introduction to that because this Bojangles, honestly, is very memorable. Like, don't get me wrong, eating Bojangles is cool and all. Like, don't get me wrong, it gives you the shits, and it's some good food. But I think the work environment, honestly, I remember more because, hey, it's Bojangles, man. I mean, it's literally just McDonald's 2.0. Like, I'm not hating on it, and it's obviously not McDonald's because, McDonald's is like bottom feeder food. Like, this is more like, this is more like night type stuff. Like, how there's, like, slaves and knights? Hey, we're the knights. But, this particular story takes place around 3 years ago. And this particular day, man, we were hanging out with my boy Brandon, Seth, Jacob, and Brandon. And when the shift was like this, man, it was just a perfect shift ever. And I almost forgot Nikki, man. I almost forgot Nikki. Dude, whenever the shift lineup was like this, man, it was always perfect because everybody on that lineup smoked weed or was cool with it, and they were all just a pleasure to work with. Like, dude, they were just really chill, open people, man. Like, I like talking to people at work, but I just love me some motherfuckers who would talk about anything at work because that just makes work so interesting. Like, hey, man, you want to talk about some motherfucking why dog poop turns white? Hey, let's talk about it. Hey, man, you want to talk about that time you punched a shark? Hey, man, let's talk about it. Like, just talk about any fucking thing, okay? That's how these motherfuckers were, especially Jacob, And we're going to get into that because Jacob, honestly, in himself could have a whole fucking story. I mean, this guy is wild. So, this time, it was, we were just coming into the shift, okay? And the way it was is me and Brennan used to always have our carts on this. Like, this is right before the whole, dab cart days, which I'm going to make a whole story about because, I went through 3 carts a week on that shit. But, this is right before the dab cart days. Me and Brandon were just getting into the shift, man. We were having a good time. We were smoking our carts, eating Bojangles. Because the way it worked, dude, is whenever you would get in, you have a bunch of duties to do. But once you got those duties done, and you just kind of had your duties, like, being done, you could eat. Like, that's one thing I like about this Bojangles is it's actually a pretty chill in the eating part, which is honestly why I gained a lot of weight while I was working there. And I mean, like, hey, your boy, he ate them chicken tenders, them bow rounds, hey, the bow bites, dude, hey. That chicken, man, them fries, ooh. That macaroni, ooh. That sweet tea, I'm sorry, viewers. I didn't mean to make y'all that hungry now. But, this particular day, man, we were just chilling, having a good-ass time, man. And I remember this day, right? Seth came up to us and he was very adamant about hitting the cart. Don't get me wrong, he said he has to hit the cart before, dude, but we didn't let him. I'm not gonna lie, like, I flicks on his ass because this dude would always talk about how he ate big edibles, how he smoked a lot of weed, but then he would sit here and talk about, like, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but he'd talk about basic shit about, like, smoking weed and shit like that, and he'd be so fucking clueless, or he'd say some such dumbass shit where it's like, dude, did you just really say that shit? So I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of skeptical. Like, I'm not hating on the boy, but I was kind of skeptical that he was, as big a stoner as he was, if you want to be honest with you. Like, I did not think he was a big smoker. Like, he was hyping himself up, I'm not gonna lie. But what ended up happening was, right, he's like, hey man, I want to hit the cart. I'm like, are you sure, bro? He's like, hey man, I eat big edibles, man. I smoke a lot of weed, bro. I promise you, this cart ain't gonna be shit. I'm like, hey man, this cart rip. And before I get into this part of the story, man, a lot of y'all motherfuckers, and I'm saying it like that, said I was capping, and the last time I remastered the story saying that you can't hit a cart for 30 seconds. Yes you can. I sorry I didn't specify the last fucking video. I was hitting it off a box mod, let me specify, not a pen. Because I know pens don't hit, like, no 30 seconds. But box mods, you can rip a box mod for a minute, honestly, if you want to, if the coil won't burn out. So, this box mod, I would run it at 4.4 watts. And you can honestly rip it at for, like, 45 to a minute. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Before y'all sit here and say, man, that's wasteful, or you couldn't hold your lungs that hard. Yeah, I know. Like, that was literally the point. Like, we would just smoke until we would give out. And so that's what Seth did. And the only reason I say that is because that's exactly what Seth did. So I hand the cart to Seth, and he's like, hey, man, watch this. And I'm like, hey, man, go right on ahead, man. Go on right ahead. So he gets the cart, right? He warms it up. And I'm like, okay, he knows a little bit. He puts the cart to his mouth, right? And he hits it, right? And whenever he hits it, right, when you're hitting the cart, you're doing kind of like a medium pull. He does a hard pull. Like, when you're going like, he was going like, like he was giving it a good pull, you know what I'm saying? And whenever he did that, I was like, oh my God. And even then, that blew my mind. But he started pulling it and pulling it and pulling it. And the whole 30 seconds went by. Like, I remember whenever he did this, me, Jacob, and Brandon were just staring at him. We were like, yo, what the flying fuck are you doing, Seth? Like, we were all like, yo, like, this dude is fucking tweaking. Like, it was so funny because we were all just working. And then right when we saw, like, Holly started hitting the car, we were all just like, hold on, we need to watch this motherfucker. Like, this guy, he's going over the deep end. And so when he gets done hitting it, right, he passes it to me, dude. He exhales and he starts coughing out the longest cough session I ever, like, I've had some pretty bad cough fits, but it's probably one of the worst. This man, Seth, just starts coughing his lungs out. Like, when I say coughing his lungs out, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, he was coughing up a lung. Like, this guy was on his knees, drooling, knees weak on the ground, like, coughing. Like, he could not stop. Like, we got him some water, we got him some shit. He was coughing, like, it was so bad, like, our team lead, Nikki, which Nikki was cool, by the way. She smoked, too. But she came up to us, and she was like, damn, y'all, like, why'd y'all let him smoke? Like, because, like I said earlier, dude, she knew, man. But she was like, hey, man, why'd y'all let him smoke? Why is he coughing so hard? And, like, hey, man, he hit the cart. It's like, why the fuck you let him hit that bullshit? You know he can't handle it. I'm like, hey, man, he said he wanted to. I ain't gonna stop him, Nikki. You know that already. She's like, oh, man, y'all some fucking dumbasses. And she said it just like that. And before y'all sit here and say, she's disrespectful, man, honestly, man, I had a lot of respect for Nikki because Nikki was a middle-aged mom. She was very, very sweet lady also. Like, she had mom qualities. Like, she was a very sweet lady. But also, bro, she was just chill with us, bro. Like, she was a boy mom, you know what I'm saying? And most boy moms are just chill like that. But also, bro, she was just relatable, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because she was a mom, she didn't act like she was above us, bro. Like, she was relatable. She smoked weed, bro, you know. She does shit like we do, you know what I'm saying? She cool. So whenever she said that, you know what I'm saying, I low-key felt bad. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, man, fuck it. So, I go back to the back, because whenever she did that, she called me to the front. I go back to the back, and Seth's finally done coughing. But he's drinking water, and he's kneeling over. And I'm like, Seth, you good? And he looks up, right? And I said this in the last story, but I just got to quote this again, dude. His eyes were all Chinese-eyed. His face was red. He was doing, like, that smile you make when you're fucking stoned, and you just got done coughing your fucking eyes out. Like, just fucking absolutely fried. And he just gives me the most stoned look, and he's like, yeah, bro, I'm fucking good. Just most stoned look ever. Honestly, the most stoned dude I've ever seen, I'll be honest with you. Like, it was genuinely really, really, really wild. And it's not even when the story begins. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're just getting started. So, I'm like, hey, man, you hit that shit like a pro, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I give you credit. It's like, hey, man, I told you I could smoke. And at the time, I didn't say it. I'm like, hey, man, any man can take a hit, but let's see how he handles it. But at the time, I'm like, hey, man, I'll give you credit, man. You hit the hell out of that bitch, hyping him up, hey, man, hyping him up. So he goes up because, I was a chicken cook. And if, to explain simply, the chicken cook did anything that was cooked or fried other than baking items. So all I did is I had 5 fryers, right? And chicken came in packs of 24, 4 legs, 4 wings, 4 thighs, and 4 breasts. So I would drop an 8-way, which was one of those, right? And I would drop chicken accordingly, right? Pretty easy, right? Think about it. Just drop more chicken than you're supposed to. Be quick at it. Hey. The only thing I fucked up on, I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen, is I would burn the fuck out of the Bojangles dirty rice. I don't know what it was about it. You know when you're boiling rice and the water's coming out of it? This shit would boil like really fucking quick. Like, don't get me wrong, at home I got a good little stove, man, but at Bojangles, man, like, these stoves were dog shit, man. I turn my back, man. I come back, dude. That shit was stuck to the goddamn pan, man. And you know me, man, I was fucking lazy. You know what I did? Hey, your boy, he didn't clean that shit. Dude, I would fucking put water in it, throw it in the sink, man. Hey, made Nikki deal with it. No fucked up shit. I'm sorry, Nikki. I'm sorry, Nikki, man. She was just to ask who did it. I'm so sorry, Nikki. I know she's not watching my videos, and she's a goat, but I'm sorry, Nikki. But right when we get right back to it, man, right when we get back to it, Seth's going up to the cash register. And the reason I say that whole explanation is because right when it happened, a big rush happened. So, that rush happened, right? And so I'm making a lot of chicken, I'm not focused on Seth, I'm out there, fucking battering my chicken. I'm out there dropping my 8-ways. I'm out there frying my chicken. You think I care, man? I'm too busy frying up my chicken. I'm too busy sifting my flour, man. Hey, I don't care, man. I'm too busy dropping my chicken in the greaser, you know what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, I am in the zone, right? But right when I walk out, man, it's the funniest thing ever, right? I see Seth, right? And Seth's just standing there, right? And Nikki and Brenner are just running circles around him, right? And he's just standing there, right? And I say, hey, Seth. And he just looks at me and he gives me an even more stone look. And I'm like, Seth, come here, man. And he's like, dude, I'm fucking stoned, bro. And I'm like, dude, I can fucking tell, dude. Like, you're slow as hell. I was like, dude, I'm really, 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 really high, man. I'm like, dude, I can fucking tell, man. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm getting kind of sick, but I'm trying to fight it. He's like, really, man? He's like, yeah, man. I'm just trying to fight it because Nikki was getting mad. I was being slow. I was like, really, bro? He's like, yeah, man. I'm fucked. And I'm like, dang, man. You shouldn't have took us such a hard hit. He's like, hey, man. I told you I could smoke. And I was like, clearly you can't handle it. He's like, hey, man. I'm hanging. And, like, for some reason, this guy he just kept slurring his words and kept talking with his mouth wide open, just like that. But what ended up happening was, right, the rush gets done. And by the way, if all my fryers are full, dude, I can't work, by the way. Like, I'm done with the work. So at the time, man, I warm up a bow bite, man, put some motherfucking frosting. I'm chilling. I get a little glass of milk. Ooh, god damn, boy, that shit used to be so good at Bojangles. I remember I used to literally put that shit fresh in the motherfucking, I'm high as hell. The motherfucking oven, dude. I would take it out, get a fresh thing of milk, bro. Just eat it. I mean, the best thing ever. And I'm sorry for making y'all hungry this episode. I mean, just some good-ass food, ladies and gentlemen. But, I come back out, man, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's Seth? What the fuck? And I'm like, hey, Nikki, where's Seth? And she was like, I don't know. She's like, I thought he was with y'all. I was like, oh, I don't know. And I go, hey, Brandon, where's Seth? He's like, oh, he went to the bathroom. I'm like, what you mean? He's like, yeah, he wasn't feeling well, so he went to the bathroom. I'm like, bro, that's funny as fuck. Well, whatever. So I go back, and I had to go finish my bow bite, right? I come back out, right, and Seth's there, right? And right when Seth's there, I see him clocking out. And I'm like, Seth, what's going on, man? It's like, dude, I just threw up like fuck, bro. I'm gonna go home, man. I feel like shit. And I was like, damn, bro, I'm so sorry, man. Like, I feel so bad, bro. At the back of my head, I was like, hey. Shouldn't have hit the cart so damn hard, ladies and gentlemen. Shouldn't have hit the cart, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, I was sympathetic in his face. But, he's like, hey, man, I'm gonna go home, man. I appreciate you letting me hit that shit, man. You have a good one, bro. And so he heads out, man, and he pieces out. And I go back to Brendan, and I'm like, yo, he just greened out. And he's like, what you mean? Dude, I ain't gonna lie. After he ripped that car, he said he was feeling sick. He's like, really, bro? I was like, yeah, bro, he greened the fuck out. He's like, I'm weak, man. He said he could handle a lot of edibles. And I'm like, hey, he said, and what he could have done is it's two different things, ladies and gentlemen. So, the day goes by, and honestly, that's the end of the story, man. But Seth honestly could not hang. And I'm not hating on Seth, man. But this dude was hyping it up for months, talking about how he could eat big edibles, how he could smoke big weed, dude. Honestly, man, I had high hopes for my boy. Like, I'm not hating on him, man. I had high expectations, not high hope, high expectations. But if y'all thought this story was fucking hilarious, man, y'all thought the story was pretty good, talking about Bojangles. If y'all thought this shit was nostalgic because, you worked at Bojangles, hey, man, leave a like or comment, man. I genuinely do appreciate all the crazy support on the last series. So I'm dropping this banger just for y'all because y'all literally ran up almost 1,000 in 3 days. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more, man. I mean, I'm genuinely grateful, bro. I genuinely could never expect anything like that ever. But if y'all thought this story was a fucking banger, man, Leave a like, comment, man. This was a banger to tell, man. Peace, boys, X, let's see. Signing out.